remember never to forget where we are from. There are people who have died in this struggle, and I was even a little bit. I think it's Azaro who was saying that some people have died, and oh, this thing will die. No, that is a defeatist attitude towards the revolution. I want to say revolutions have no timeline. Some of the people who started revolution, like Martin Luther King, never even saw a black president, or for example, Obama. They never saw the liberation of the black people, but they started the revolution nevertheless. So we should not give up because some people have been bought in the government. No, the movement must continue and should continue. And Wanyama, even you should add one hashtag here: Ruto must go, because it doesn't matter when. It is not a matter of if he has to go, but it is a matter of when, because one day I can assure you he will go. Because as we always say, you cannot kill people or kill us and then lead us. That is not. There are people who do protest. I saw it in UK. You cannot even hear of anybody who died. They were violent, they were looting, they were everything. In fact, ours has always been peaceful, except that when the government realized you only quench fire with fire, they started now using goons to come and steal phones from the Gen Zs and the people in the press so that people can be intimidated. We are very much aware of what the problem with Ruto is, that he's not able to change. And that is why I agree with someone who was talking about we monitor the things which were on the finance bill, whether they are going to be returned, because I have reliable sources telling me they're going to be returned to Parliament in source of single bills. So people have to be very careful. Remember the eco levies. If they increase, then we know the finance bill has not been dropped. Remember the motor vehicle circulation taxes. Those things can be returned to Parliament using the sponsored bills, which are single-handed from the. For example, the domestic taxes. They say just take it this one and amend this part. So we should be very much vigilant so that they don't return. But the bottom line is, let us keep the fire burning. One of the things we have achieved that people don't understand, if these guys take over, even your simple, beautiful life that you go to malls and live in Karen and Runda will be no longer there. These people are going to come for bank accounts. They're going to come for their for. Let us continue telling them that we are coming after you, so that they don't sit pretty. Because let me tell you why they ask for peace. They ask for peace because they want to steal in silence. I've just read the papers today. You'll be so amazed on how things have been. Like a minister orders or authorizes 2 billion shillings from the account of I think it was edible oil. I mean, this is mind-boggling figures. While there are people here who don't even know the next meal where it's going to come from, how they're going to pay their rent. And if every money went to its purpose, we would not even be in the streets. And that is why we are saying we don't even care, even if Ruto appoints only Kalenjins to the ministers. Or what we want, if you go to the hospital and you have an HIF card or whatever they are calling shiv or shit, that you can be treated. You can have a surgery or anything. Rather than having your tribesman, like a guy who was telling us that we need ministers. We don't need ministers. Why do you need a minister? You need things to work. You need to go to the university and complete without being afraid of being deferred. Those are the things people are looking for. And that is what we are calling good governance. It is not an issue of who is in power. And I saw someone else in Kisumu saying now we are in government because we have a minister. That guy will be paid his money. He will steal his money and go to his wife and family. And if he's going to help anybody to get a job, maybe a cousin. For you to get a job, you have to be very either related to him or a neighbor. But surely, let us have a country where things work. We have a country that is enough for all of us. And if we get things right now. And we should not be afraid. Like again, go to the guy who was saying that the revolution will die and we will die with it. No, 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 no. It cannot work like that. By the way, there are countries which have attained power, and I can mention more than 10 where they didn't even have a political party. And in any case, which political party is this in this country makes sense? So there are people who made revolution work despite not having political parties. Like in Senegal, the guy who became president. I don't know of which of any political party he had started, but people liked him, so they were aware whatever party he joins, we're going to vote for him, and that is where we should go. So the next action we should take as a people of Kenya, it's to make sure that this movement is not only for Gen Zs, it is for each and every person, because we suffer together in this country. It doesn't matter your name, it doesn't matter where you come from, but we all suffer together. So the next action or the next thing we should do is to make sure that we mobilize everybody, and the protest should continue. Me, I'm actually saying this until they allow peaceful protest in this country. Protests should not stop. They should continue until they know these askaris, they're our brothers. And many of them, I can assure you, like half of them, they feel like, of course, we are doing the right thing. But there are those who have been told our kingdom is being threatened. Ufalme yetu iko karibu kwenda. So if you can kill to quell these things, please quell. We know these things are happening. And therefore, we should continue. We cannot relent until things work for Kenya. We say this. Guy is a genius. He must be the one who invented Twitter or TikTok. Or anyway,
Sana
niachie
sana. I
hapo
like I like
Thank you
I
so
like
much.
what you've just mentioned. And asante sana for your view. And now that you mentioned about the cabinet secretaries, hey, news right now reaching us is there is a report that the House committee tabled, and 187 out of more than 1,300 statements submitted in Parliament supported President Ruto's cabinet secretary nominees. So mnaweza imagine 187 only were for the support of these nominees. Either way, it seems like public opinion does not matter. Here tunaongelea about bad governance in general, and not only about Nane, but bad governance in general. This is the start of the series, that is Sauti ya Mwananchi. Pick the mic, come and speak. Na nataka kusikia from a lady. Let me also mix the languages. And before that, before Elizabeth, can you hear me, first of all? Elizabeth Nyambura, are you able to hear me? Okay. Inakaa hapa hatusikizani. I want to hear what's his name? World News. Amalizie. World News in less than a minute, please. Complete that with what
Yeah,
you are speakers.
I just wanted to correct one thing. One, the leaderless pattern was the best thing for what happened. What I would just say is that movements always metamorphose. So the best thing now to happen is metamorphose the movement into a formidable thing in this country, just like the way Raila created the ODM. But we can use a different way. And I was just wanted to comment that I've already seen some young men coming up, and they're already coming up with a way of creating leadership within the account. So we can't say that it was wrong to be leaderless. That's the only way we could have achieved what we achieved, is not to have one person being pointed to. But now that we have done that, we need now to conglomerate and become a system. Thank you.
Asante sana, and yes, take it like a journey. Tutafika tu. Kowino, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning Wanyama, how are you?
Ko salama sana.
Hata mimi
We are
niko
cruising
salama,
nicely.
nashukuru.
We are cruising nicely. Karibu tu Sauti ya Mwananchi. I really need to listen to ladies, and I don't know why people are not requesting. The ladies are not requesting the mic. Please request for the mic and give us your opinion. We are 40 minutes into the talk, more than 40 minutes actually, and we are just highlighting all the news both in Kenya and the rest of East Africa as well. Koino, do you have something for us before we go to the next speakers?
I also wanted to persuade the ladies, tafadhali wanadada, tafadhali, you request the mic. This is your space. This is not Wanyama space. This is not Koino space. This is not KOT space. This is your space. Na kila mtu anasikizwa. We want to create a platform for all of you to come and express yourselves. We want to educate all of us to do where are we heading as a country now, to what is the way forward. Again, vile huwa nasisitiza, tafadhali, we should not stop educating people even back in the villages. Hatufai kuacha kuhimiza watu wachukue vitambulisho na wakuwe tayari for 2027 elections pia, because time flies so fast. Before we know it, tutakuwa tumefika hapo na people wataanza, oh, sina kitambulisho, oh, nilisahau sijui wapi, imepotea. So guard it with everything you have. Don't lose your ID carelessly, tafadhali. Again, kwa wale wapenzi wa mpira, football is almost back. Ngaro Conrad na kuona hapo. Football is almost back. The Premier League is almost back. Timu yako imejipangaje? Yangu najua imejipanga sambamba. Yeah, to my new followers, this account posts so much about football, by the way. Revolution najua ilifanya watu wengi wakanifollow. But again, this account posts so much about football. Hatutaacha kupost about revolution na civic education. Thank you, Wanyama.
Asante sana, and yes, keep bringing us the news on sports. Tukiendelea kuangalia about all these governance talks. Ladies, please request for the mic. Tumesikia a lot of sauti mzito mzito huko bana. Come and bless our ears this lovely morning. But asante sana to everyone again who's joined us. Naona hapa tumefika 13 reposts. Guys, we are 130 something of us. It won't take you more than a minute. Go and retweet this space. Click the message icon on your bottom right and then click the upside down arrow. Kwa wale wana drive to work right now, tafadhali kama wewe ndio dereva usishike simu, wewe endelea kusikiza tu, kama ni bluetooth device or whatever is connected. Please drive safely. Those at home, thank you so much for joining us, and if you can, please join the speakers panel and give us what your thoughts are. I want to listen to X Tech. You've been here for some time. Can you hear me? EECS Tech, a tool for electrical engineering. If he's not there, Jude. Jude Mwema. Koino, please call out the guy. Maybe he's not here.
Jude, can you hear Wanyama? Hello, Jude.
I think he's not there. Ask Ochi. Let us progress. Ask Ochi.
Ask Ochi, are you there? Ask Ochi, can you hear us?
I think they cannot. Please keep requesting for the mic. We're going to add as many as possible as we are continuing. Tulisema hii conversation will keep it alive as much as possible. Thank you for adding the other ones. The one, and please raise your hand if you can hear me. The one, Jira.
Yes, hi, good morning, Wanyama.
Finally. Koino, we made it. We have a lady.
Yes, we sure did.
Go ahead. Karibu sana to Sauti ya Mwananchi.
Thank you, Wanyama. Thank you, Kowino. Good morning, Kenyans. Good morning, my fellow criminals. Or should I say online wankers? I don't know. David Ndi is a madman. My name is Wanjira Maina. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I am devoted to see a different dawn for this country. Me to start by making a few comments about Nane Nane and what I think the future of the country. There was a lot of planning that went into Nane Nane, and I was very devoted to, participate in the demonstrations. I was in town by 6 a.m. I was also unfortunately one of the ones that were arrested very early on, as the protests began or did not begin. I don't know what your opinions are. And I can tell you, for those of us that are deluded into thinking that the police are with us, they're not with us. In the course of arrest, I remember one police officer making a very terrible remark. Ati mnataka kukomboa nchi ilishakombolewa, mnafikiria nchi ni ya mama yenu. And that makes you wonder whether this person lives in their own country or I don't know. So me, and I'm going to say that coupled with, I think we saw a heightened level of brutality by the police on Thursday. We were arrested Thursday morning. We were later released later in the evening, and some of my fellow comrades, our fellow comrades, were arraigned in court in the morning. We were also there Friday at City Court the entire day to ensure that they were released. And I don't know about those people that think that the police are with us, but I will tell you, I don't think that they are. I don't know what instructions they've been given. I do not know who. I don't know, but what Thursday let me know, or at least let me see firsthand, is that the police are not with us. Or I don't know how much money they've been given. I cannot, but I don't think. Now, what do I think that the future of this country is? I'm going to say civic education, civic education, civic education. We can see, for example, I don't know where the president and Rigathi Gachagua were, and they're also with Joho, and the from emanating from these three and others were, mnakataa kuingia kwa serikali, si mnaona hata Joho ako ndani ya serikali. The question is, okay, ako kwa serikali, but what value is he adding to that serikali, right? Tumesema hakuna sasa kuongea tena nje ya boma, kila mtu akuje ongea hapa. What opportunity have been given to speak? Because I can tell you, everybody that was arrested on Thursday, or at least everybody I know, all the close to 100 protesters that were arraigned in court on Friday, none of them had been arrested for taking place in illegal or unlawful activity. In fact, the voice of the youth is in the streets, at least in properly publicized, and the relevant authorities had been notified of the protest and the demonstration, and that is the platform that the youth have picked to express their opinions. And so when you on one hand say that there shall be peaceful protests, and on the other hand you brutally arrest, I don't know whether you've seen the videos going around. Some of those arrests were extra brutal. And so what opportunity, what platform have the youth been given to air their grievances and their voices, for you to tell them, tumesema hakuna kuongea nje ya boma tena? Do you understand? I also disagree with those people that think that we should form a movement, or we should have agreed to have a dialogue with the government. I do not think that would have helped. I am going to say this, that I think that was just for PR. I don't think that they are dedicated to listening, or they don't give a damn, right? Because if they did, we saw, for example, the first day of the protest, Alfred Mutua, he had gone to see that police officer that unfortunately blew off his own fingers, right? That police officer did not die, but Alfred made a personal decision to go see him. All of the families that have lost people, what politicians have we seen? What key figures have we seen that have gone to see, the families of people that have actually lost lives? Do you understand? That if there shall be dialogue, why don't you begin by showing some good faith? Anyway, that's besides the point. The future of this country, I am going to say, is when we kick out ignorance. When we kick out ignorance, when you show people why this movement is important. For the people that think that the movement is dying, the fact that there exists a movement at all already tells you that there has been, or there is, an awakening that is going on. So for me, I still see hope. I am still devoted. I am still working towards seeing a new dawn for this country. And let us not relent, comrades. Let's not relent. Thank you, Onyama. Have a good day. Have a good day, Kenyans.
Wow, asante sana. That's amongst the things that we really needed to hear. Koino, do you have something to say? I see.
Yeah. Thank you, Anjiro. I wanted to ask you something because since I think all of us are in agreement, like almost everyone is talking about the civic education. What is the way forward? What do you how do you think we should go about this civic education? Because I think civic education we need to do it like throughout the country, even back in the villages, everywhere, our age mates and everyone else. For our age mates, I think it's much easier than back in the villages because again now we'll need people traveling all around the country, trying to educate others, people going in their areas where they can speak the vernacular language in those areas and teaching. How do you think we should go about this?
Right. How do I think we should go about civic education? Let me first start by saying that civic education is like it's like a war of narratives, right? Because there's the narrative that the government of the day gives you, and then there's the other narrative that you want to present, the alternative narrative that you want to present to the people, which is appoint and remove these people from power. So that it's a war of me start there. Number one. Number two, I have always said that how to go about civic education, do it the way the politicians do it. You know how the politicians go, for example, to the coast and they'll tell the people at the coast, we have heard that nyinyi hamtaki mambo ya mugoka, so we are going to deal with that. And then the same politicians are going to go to Meru and example the livestock bill, we've heard about the Seeds Act, we've had those things. So when you're talking about things like that and how the government of the day has really just let down, they're actually parliament that are going to imperil their livelihood. There are these conversations in parliament that are going to imperil food security in this country. When you go to the youth, talk to them about the things that matter, to the youth. For example, the fact that the cabinet secretary right now for youth affairs does not actually give a damn about you people. And at the end of the day, you have the power to ensure that this kind of person does not continue occupying these seats. So I would say talk to the people about the things that matter to them. And then the other thing is erase the things or this kind of, for example, politics done for me as a, there's nothing that politics has ever done for me. Imeunganisha Kenya, imeunganisha kina nani, right? Because the youth out here are still dying. There's people that I think in the morning someone was talking about how their friends lost both feet. For example, wameunganishwa aje kwa hii serikali? How does this government represent such people? You know what I mean? So that is, I suppose I'd be looking to hear what more can be done. But in my opinion, do away with the things that they've been told from a place of knowledge. But number two, talk to people about the things that matter to them. That is how they can see that they have some skin in the game. That there's a way that this politics and this leadership touches their lives in an actual way, and then perhaps you have a chance at having them join the movement.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Anjiro, for that. We've underlined that. You've said talk to the people about the things that matter. Talk to them about things that concern them throughout. That is well noted. I think that is one way to go forward about it. And again, you said that we do away with the lies that people have been told throughout, because I think people have been told a lot of lies and they've bought it. Kama hiyo siasa kama sahi ati mtu wetu amepewa CS, mtu wetu amepewa that. And people really think those CSs will help them at personal level. They won't help them at personal level. Those are just, they are serving political interests of certain individuals. So thank you for that. Yeah. Wanyama?
Thanks, Koino. Interesting times we are living in today, and one of them is we ask about all these things without realizing that governance is in every aspect of our lives. That's whether it's public governance or corporate governance. Even as you're driving to work or you are at home, these are things that are affecting us, and we really have to keep the conversation going in the sense of, if you want to keep this alive, come and speak. Go out there and speak. There's two things to this. There's one which is listen to others. Um, that's the first part. Through listening, you learn something, and that's the power of these spaces. After listening and learning, then go and teach someone in the jobless corner, in your office work environment, all aspects of the conversation. And that's why Koino is coming in with sports, etc., etc. KOT is here as well, will bring his side of things. I'm waiting for Ayo the 6th to come here and give us hot topics. Huyo jamaa mkikaa mnamwona mahali, mfukuze huko, mwambie he has a duty on this end, akuje huku hivi. We'll be bringing in more co-hosts to this series, Sauti ya Mwananchi. We keep the talks alive. And by alive, I mean to the extent that you're not just shouting that there is a problem here. No, we are shouting from an educated standpoint. So as we keep the conversation going, remember to retweet the space. Nasema, naendelea kusema, retweet the space, become an active person. These spaces will be running every day from 7 a.m. Kenyan time to 10. Sijui kama Koino na KOT, are you guys gassed up to get to 10? KOT,
Uh, 10 is an hour away. Is an hour and 4 minutes away.
Ooh,
Yeah.
let's keep it going. But I like so far how the speakers have given their submissions as well. This is a recorded session, so the reason why I put it on recorded is because I want us to keep replaying it and learning, because kuna kuanga na wisdom mingi sana on these spaces. Mingi sana. If only people could replay it. Naona pa Moses Bright. Moses Bright, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you too. How are you? Want to join from where?
I'm joining you from Juja.
Karibu sana Juja Massive to the show. Tuambie maneno ya wosia.
Cha niwaambie maneno. Yeah, nasikia I've heard a lot of people talking about civic education and there is no need of forming a movement. Let me tell you one thing. Najua, sometimes I think maybe because we are young and then we usually forget. Do you like according to my observation, you see, like this movement called Gen Z, and and one of the things you realize is like Gen Z is just a group of people, and then we have millennials, we have other people, we have older people, we have our grandparents, and all these people have been in Kenya. It's not that they have not been around Kenya. So everything that happens in Kenya, they know. Maybe they are, and one of the we have a large number of people in Kenya who are middle class, and the most educated people in Kenya fall under middle class, whereby you find the most millennials. These people are so much educated, and these are the people that, in terms of things to do with the civil rights, fighting for social justice. These are the people who never take part in this kind of things. It's not that they are not educated, but there is a particular, uh, or it's not that they don't know, but the tendency in Kenya is that most people say that the things that they don't affect, that do not affect them, they don't participate in. So when I hear people saying that there's no need to form a movement, I think they this thing called Gen Z will end before you even reach 2027, because we think that people don't know like they need to vote. These people know, and the only way we can change this country per se is by influence. Unaona? And one of the things that we don't know, if we don't form a party, or if we don't come up with party with structures, we'll never influence anyone. We'll still be in the same position come election in 2027, because we'll still have the same people. And if you look keenly with politics in Kenya, we know now, like, we have Ruto, we have Raila, the people that have now come together, and they control like every government structure, including even how to uh, going there and registering for a vote. They control everything. They control the IBC. So it's like we are focusing on things that we cannot control. The only thing we can control is to come up with a movement, form a political party, try to influence as much people as possible. I mean, Kenya to offer like civic education to people. I mean, Kenyans, their tendency is like they want to see something work before even they join it. No, no. So if we can't just be around with saying that, oh, we are really leaderless, we are whatever. Things don't work that way. In reality, anything that does not have a leader, even in the Bible, you see anything that doesn't have a leader is like a beast. And you know that a beast will just consume you. So the best thing, like, we have to show people like we can come up with a good political party, we can come up with a good movement, we can have structure, we can organize ourselves. That's what people want to see. You see, our fathers, our mothers, our sisters, and our brothers, people who are old, that's what they want to see. Can these people organize themselves? Are they ready to take up the leadership positions? Because Kenya is a political democracy. How are we going to change this country if we say that, oh, we don't want to come up with a movement and we want change? Change will not come by us forcing the people who can change to change. We can't force, like, Michelle Obama said that leadership reveal what people are. So these people that we want to change, they will never change. So it's upon us to take those positions and try to bring change, instead of, even if we have seen it with Ruto. We have seen it with Ruto. No matter how many times that we have demonstrated, Ruto has not changed. So those who are saying that don't come up with the meal, there is no need. You are wrong. There's no, if we don't, Kenya is a political party state, and if anyone wants to take power, and if anyone want to come to join government or take positions in the government, you have to be in a party, you have to be in a movement. Yeah, we can't just be there hanging in the air, and politicians are organizing themselves for 2027 as we are here, thinking that there is someone who will come. You have to control
Moses,
that
Moses,
variable. You have to, like,
I,
control. I want to finish. Let me finish first. We have to control that variable.
a second, Moses. Um, this is Wanyama. We want to move in the space of saying things with not on just surface level. I want us to go deeper into it. People have been giving these ideas. I don't know where they emanate from, but they're giving these ideas. It is not true that you cannot be in government if you do not belong to a party. Maybe restructure and say you can be. It's the easiest and what we are accustomed to. I mean, Okiom Tata is sure that you do not have to have a party to be in government. While I agree that it might be hard as well, it's not impossible. Now, if you push your conversation from the point of yes, people require, why do they require leaders? You can't just be at the surface level and say someone will come and steal whatever you fought for, etc., etc. I agree with the part of you saying leaders are a reflection of who we are as a people. Personally, I voted for Ruto. Hiyo nimepigwa viboko on this platform, but we are amongst the ones that shout nowadays huku hivi. I apologized for voting for Ruto. Nilikuwa lied to as well. Irrespective of what my opinion is on Ruto, my other job is to ensure that converse of give value to the deeper level. And the reason why I'm asking you is because the 100 and something listening to this space also need to go and teach other people. Say, let's not be like our politicians. Let's do a little bit better. So, if you're saying we need leaders, I mean, representation, I think that's where you're headed by what you mean by leaders, right? You're on
Can I
the
can I
are
respond
you
to one point?
speaking are you speaking about representation, Moses?
Yeah, like Kenya is a representation democracy. Kenya is like a representative democracy, and our constitution provide provide for political parties. Okay, like you have for someone to form government, is it not what we want? Like we want to form we want a government which caters for the needs of the people. Okay, and for you to form a government that caters for the need of people is those who are in government that appoint people in other leadership positions. Okay, and also you have talked about Okiya Mtata. Okiya Mtata is just an independent. Okay, but Kenya doesn't work through independent candidates. Kenyans work through is a political. Do you understand what is a political democracy? Is a political party democracy
Moses,
whereby we have one party.
I'm not necessarily against you. And I for the
So when you
benefit
say
of
that
those for the benefit
I'm not saying.
a second, Moses. A second. Let's go on this procedurally before I give it to the next person again to speak. Let us go procedurally. If we say those in government, who is the government? Is it the people or the ones having those seats, elected seats? Because that's the breakdown that we are talking about civic education. The government is the people. So let's start from there because that definition, we are losing it. It's not those sitting in those political seats. I mean, the elected seats or the elective seats. So, ukianza kudefine from the point of those in
Okay,
government,
okay,
we are
okay.
losing each other. Secondly,
Can I can I respond to your first point?
okay, go ahead and do it less than a minute because we need to go to the next speakers.
You are confusing direct democracy and indirect democracy. You understand? Like Kenya, we have indirect democracy whereby people don't represent themselves. We are represented by people. Unaona? And those people that we elect, we elect them to go there and form a government which will serve the people. And it's not true. It's a very false narrative to say that the government is the people. Unaona? The people are the state, but we have elected people to go and serve inside the government. Do you understand? And those people that are serving inside the government are the ones that we want them to get out of the government so that we can put there people who serve the interest of Kenyans. Okay? So we can't say that the government is the people. We have appointed people to be in the government so that they can serve our interests, they can serve our social welfare. And in that particular case, we need to elect particular people to go there and serve our interest. And that can only happen if we organize ourselves. We can't just be in the air like we don't have a movement, we are leaderless, we are radarless, whatever. Yeah, and we have seen that being that has not taken us anywhere because things have not changed.
Moses. I don't want
So we have
us. I
to
don't want
change
us to
our
go
strategy.
deeper. I don't want us to
Okay.
Yeah,
go deeper.
Wanyama.
Yeah, just a second, Kowino. I need to also caution people. Please, let us speak from a point of tusipeane nini stories za jaba. At the beginning of our constitution, 2010, it says sovereignty of the people. Go and check that one out. Tafadhalini, guys, when you come to the spaces, let's not just speak about all these things. There is a difference between government and the definition of democracy, types of democracy, etc., etc. The definition of the government is clearly stated in our constitution. At the beginning, chapter 1, it says the sovereignty of the people means all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya, and the people may exercise this sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected leaders. Hiyo iko kwa constitution. So to see end deeper into saying, oh, all other things about, we are confusing this. Whilst I agree, representation is very key in the Kenyan politics. That's why the parties are there. We should not constrict ourselves to say it can only happen this way or this and that. I'm just trying to correct what Moses you're saying. That representation is there, but unfortunately, I have to continue to the next speaker. But I like the part of you saying
Wanyama.
Let's go
representation.
to the constitution. So we can't just be saying that like what we have said and what I've said is just the same. The difference is our understanding. Unaona? We
Okay.
exercise our rights. We exercise our. Can I finish 1 minute? We exercise
Yes.
our sovereignty when we are voting. That's when the only time that is the time that we find when we are voting or when we want to recall the people that we elected, or when now we or through maybe during demonstrations. Unaona? It's not like we exercise our rights, our sovereignty through demonstration, but we also exercise it through voting and during elections. And how can we exercise our rights, our sovereignty during election? That's what I'm saying. We exercise our right during election by electing people and recalling those who have not performed and putting new people who can perform. And how can that happen?
Anyway,
If you want
Moses,
a competent president, I want to finish.
Moses.
If you want a competent
You've been
president,
finishing for some time. You've been
you have
finishing for some time. I agree with what you're saying, but to umeshift goalposts sana. So I think we just agree. For the moment, we need to keep
your
moving to the
understanding will
next.
continue, man.
Koino, please go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to ask Moses, like 1, 2 things before we move to the next speaker.
You can go ahead and ask those questions to him.
Yes.
And please, Moses, before Koino, you go ahead. Moses, please, let's stop
Yes.
shifting goalposts at the moment because we want these conversations to be valuable. I think let's agree from that because I've listened to the responses that you've given and I'm very attentive to detail as well. So, ukiulizwa swali, just to keep these conversations very objective, let's just stick to the questions that have been asked. Koino, you can go ahead.
Yes, Moses, you've said that we've not been able to achieve things because we don't have a political party. I want to take you back to the 25th of June, where the Occupy Parliament was achieved. And I think at that point was the peak of everything, and there was no political party driving the protests at all. There was no leader, there was nothing. The only reason I believe it was successful, number one, because the opponent did not know our strategy. Since then, we've always been here discussing our strategies publicly on what we should do or what we should not do, on how we are going to meet, and that is why they have stayed a step ahead of the game. So my question is, why do you think a political party is the solution to maybe a successful protest or any other thing? That is
Okay.
number one
A
question.
solution.
If you could answer that in probably less than 15 seconds, I'd really appreciate before I ask the next question because we have another speakers in line.
I've said a political party is a solution because it's the only way we can find people who we can now give a responsibility to occupy the positions that we want change in. You see, and if we have a political party like a structure, it's very easy now to hold those people accountable in parties. In parties, we can recall them in parties before even we look at something else. So political party is the real solution, and coming up
Okay.
with leaders and a movement is the solution.
Okay, you've said, I don't want to touch on that because I now have a different question. But again, you are saying that political parties, we are able to recall these leaders because of political parties and to hold them accountable. Right now, there are leaders who are, let me say, democratically elected, and no one is holding them accountable. True or false? They are elected under certain political parties. Most of the members of assembly, most of the members of the Senate, almost everyone, because we have a few independent candidates. Has anyone recalled them since they belong to political parties? Are they corrupt? I believe yes. Has anyone recalled them? No. Is the political party's solution now to that?
You're getting it wrong. I'm talking about, we have seen that the political parties that are existing do not serve our good. So my idea was, why can't we come up with another movement political party which will serve our good? It's not like because now we have political parties which have not met their purpose or objective, we can't form one.
Okay. Okay. My next question was, you touched on something about IBC that we cannot influence if we don't form a political party. Do you still believe that is true? Because I don't think influencing the appointments or the restructuring of IBC will really need a political party. And if you read at the IBC Act, these people already made everything for 2027 in plan in that IBC Act. So do you really believe, like you said, I was noting those things down, do you really believe forming a political party will influence the restructuring of IBC?
Have you really read the act as you are supposed to? Because the act provides that in choosing of the commissioners, there are spaces for political parties, which are four. So if per se, let's say we have like a political, we have asked or demanded that also we put a person there to represent us in the appointment. Now the people who are going to forward the names of people who are going to appoint new commissioners are the ones that we don't want, because what, we don't have a movement which can recommend somebody or will have presented somebody in the appointment panel. Because you are saying, like, you get it? That is the act that was
I
passed.
believe in that act. Even if we form a political party right now, it will not be a suitable place to field members to go and represent the appointment of those members, because that thing is structured to favor political parties with already numbers in the party. That
Okay. If we
anyway.
have numbers, it's like we have numbers. If the political parties are people, and the reason why those political parties have numbers is because they have people behind them. So if in Jay-Z we have numbers, we can come up with a political party and we can demand for anything that we want. That's what I'm saying. We can demand
You have to
instead
understand,
of
Moses, you have to understand that numbers you're talking about is representation in the upper and the lower house. It is representation that is already in the upper and lower house in the parliament, not numbers from outside parliament.
Have you read the act? It's only for people who are coming. It is only for people who are coming outside, inside parliament. So, and we have other people who are coming from, not who are from parliament, like political party things, which are areas. There are many areas which will have an influence if we have organized ourselves well. Which now it's too late in that particular case, but our influence still can happen if we organize ourselves for even for civic educations and for educating people on mobilizing people for voting. It's easier when you have a movement and a party, when people associate themselves with Yeah, that's how we are going to influence people. But if we just stay like that, we are waiting for 2027. I mean, we are just joking. I think we are joking around.
Okay, again, this is a matter of opinions. So we might say we are joking. Some might say we are not joking. The reason why I'm dwelling on this so much, the reason. Listen, listen, listen.
I said we. So don't say
Uh,
think that.
okay, listen. My next
Uh,
question will be.
I hope that's the last one. I want us to get done with Moses.
Yes, yes, yes. I want us to get done with that part because I've seen this conversation around political parties so much, and maybe it's high time we start getting to hear what people have to say about it and why some want it, and why maybe some of us feel like it's not the right time for it. Moses, um, after the Occupy Parliament hashtag and it was successful, um, there was can I say we assume there was a lot of division going forward after since the next protest after that. There have been probably a lot of divisions, the influencers and everyone. Someone today say no, don't occupy State House, the other one says no, go occupy. There have been contrary opinions going forward. If we form a political party, don't you think it will create an immediate division where Wanyama wants to be the party and kill the cause earlier than expected? Um, and again, on civic education, you said civic education should be done under political parties. Do you think civic education can only be done under political parties?
In terms of being, I don't think the reason why we are so divided is because of lack of leadership. That's number one. And then if you have a leader, that leader is we can decide how we are going to appoint the person that is going to present us or going to head us. Okay, so we can do it through voting for that person, or maybe meeting or forming a committee that will going to select a suitable person. And then if you have a leader, it's very difficult for people to be divided because we'll have one voice and one. And then in terms of your second question, can you repeat for me? I've not got it right.
The civic education one, can it only be done through political parties?
Yeah, because